welcome aboard Freedom and our anniversary vlog. Cannot believe 365 days ago today, Misty and me moved on board Freedom and spent our very first night on board. What a year that's been. Now, you saw the bottle of bubbly and the champagne glasses. That's not really me. Cup of tea. I'm not a drinker as such. I may have a glass with my daughter next time she's able to come across and spend a bit of time on the boat. So, where did all this come from? Where did it all start? How's this year been? Let me first of all say my original plan was to do maybe a 30-minute, 40-minute vlog answering all the questions that's been sent in. But I've decided, I think what I'd like to do, and I hope you don't mind, is cover the questions over the next couple of weeks and really bring you up to date with how did I end up on a boat, you know, what this year's been like for both my dog and myself, and our mental health and our well-being and our outlook on life. So I moved on board. If you saw the last vlog on the on YouTube, I got the keys for Freedom on the 16th of March last year, and I moved my boxes on board and unpacked everything over a couple of days, and then I decided I would move Misty and myself on the following Saturday, which was the 21st of March. So how did I end up on a boat? You know, am I into boats? Well, the answer is honestly no. I'm not a particular boat fanatic. Have I ended up on a boat? Well, it's a long story, and I'm hoping to cover it in segments, if that makes sense, over the next few months as you get to know me better. I know you've watched the vlogs where I've cooked, and you've watched the vlogs where I've emptied the loo and all that kind of thing. But the whole point of this YouTube channel wasn't to be a big, massive, in-your-face kind of channel. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of them for people to watch. There's fully informative about bilge pumps and propellers, shaft bearings, etc. This is really, for me, is almost a diary, and I hope to share with people my experiences and hope to answer the sort of questions on a week-on-week basis that all new boat owners and people who are thinking about buying a boat are going to be asking. It wasn't, as I say, my intentions originally to be on this particular boat. I've just come out of a marriage and relationship that's lasted 27 years, and it wasn't from choice that I found myself in this position. I found that I was in a position that I had no choice. So my option was to sell the house and find somewhere else to live. And I knew I was bringing my dog with me. And I considered all sorts of things, because at 64 years of age, I started to think maybe, having spent most of my life catering to everybody else, it was time to start to cater to myself and my dog. I had considered buying a very large motorhome, and me and Misty were going to go into Europe, into Spain and France, and just drive. But then I realised Misty can't drive, so I'd have to do all the driving myself. So I thought that's not such a good idea. I had looked at Widebeam boats many years ago, planning for my retirement, and we'd come to Mersey Marina, and we'd been to the Crick Boat Show, and we'd been on board brand new boats, and we'd looked at all sorts. Little did I know that was going to be my future, but without my wife, who had different plans. So, having sold the house, or knowing I was putting the house on the market, I had a choice really, is to either buy a smaller house with my share of my original house, or change my life completely. And I've decided that to change my life completely. So coming back to looking at a boat, and the more I looked at them, the more I thought this is a lifestyle that I want. I like the fact that it's a slower lifestyle. It's a private lifestyle. It can be sociable, and it can be busy. So it gives you options. But one of the things that I like about having a boat is, unlike putting my money into a house, the boat gives me the freedom, not only in her name, but she gives me the freedom that in the future, Misty and Me can go, within reason, anywhere in the UK. Yes, we're limited slightly by the size, but there's still plenty of waterways and interesting cities, towns on them waterways for us to visit. So I started looking when I realised that things at home weren't going well. And my daughter assisted me. We went to look at lots of different boats. I'd been to Sawley Marina and found a beautiful boat there. And a friend of mine taught me how to buy it because it was too big. And strangely enough, I did put an offer in on it, and the guy turned it down. And a year on, and that boat's still for sale. So that tells me something. I found a fantastic boat in South Yorkshire, but the owner was a very strange character. Hadn't used it for 2 years. He'd spent an absolute fortune having this custom built, but didn't seem to know much about the boat. And that was very off-putting, and again, not an easy man to deal with. And then we found a boat called At Last up in, I think it was North Yorkshire, in a marina. And this gentleman had named the boat At Last because he'd finally got round to getting his boat. He'd been planning to have one for years, and he again had built a beautiful Widebeam that was 58 by 10 foot. And it was quite strange because we went to look at the boat one Sunday. Lovely gentleman and his wife. They came off the boat and just left us there to look around it, myself and my daughter. And I'm sat in the saloon area, and my daughter's looking at my vacant look on my face, and she says, "What's the matter, Dad?" And I says to her, "Don't you think it's a bit small?" And she says, "Dad, you're just coming out of a 6-bedroomed house. It's bound to seem a bit small." And I decided I was going to leave a deposit on it. This was going to be the boat I was going to have. And I did. I left the deposit, and was just waiting to have its safety checks done. And I came home back to Nottinghamshire, and I looked on Apollo Duck, and as you do, even though I'd already left a deposit on a boat, and I spotted Freedom. I hadn't realised she'd only just been put on for sale, and because I was originally going to be moored at Sawley and the other boat was up in North Yorkshire, I'm thinking it's going to take 10 to 11 days to get the boat down to Sawley. A friend of mine was going to sail it for me. If I bought one at Mercia, it would only take hours to get it to Sawley. So we came to have a look. And one of the things, if you're thinking of buying a boat, is do look at as many as you can. And one of the things you'll see on the forums and people will say to you is, when you step aboard that boat, the right boat, you'll just know it's the right boat. So we came on a Sunday to have a look, and from the moment Jeff opened the doors and I stepped aboard Freedom, I knew this was the boat I should have been buying. So his wife was showing my daughter around, and I found myself saying to them, "I'm sorry that I'm not looking around your boat. I'm just sitting here where I am now, and I'm just absorbing the atmosphere of the boat, and I'm imagining myself living on it," not realising at that moment in time that I'd already made my mind up. And I came back and did a second visit, and that was it. I was sold on Freedom, and fortunately I managed to get some of my deposit back off the first boat because the gentleman was really nice. I told him the truth, and he was really helpful, understanding. And we then put the wheels in motion to get Freedom. She's 57 foot long by 12 foot wide, and I'm moored at Mercia Marina because, having looked at Mercia and then looked at Sawley, in my opinion, this is the right marina for me to be living at the moment. So how's this year been? Well, if you looked at the short vlog that I recently did when I first videoed coming on the boat, it was scary, really scary. I know nothing about boats. I hadn't a clue anything about Mercia Marina, really. I didn't know what I was letting myself in for. And having spent 27 years with somebody, you become accustomed to that life. And I hadn't realised that most of my time had been spent keeping other people happy, at the cost of my own happiness. So yes, I moved on, and I brought my boxes, and I did actually find, after I'd loaded all the boxes on the Monday night, I was going back to work where I was stopping at the time, and as I'm walking back towards my van, I'm actually saying to myself quite openly, I'm saying, what on earth have you done? I'd already spent the money then, it was too late. And I came the following morning on the Tuesday to unbox, and on the drive from the main security gates through to the parking area at about 9 o'clock in the morning, I must have passed 7, 8 different people. Some were the cleaners, some of them were just other moorers, some were the guarding staff. And without exception, every single person said, "Good morning, are you all right? Morning." And I'm thinking, how nice is that? How nice is that? And then I got on board Freedom, and it's beautiful and quiet. Now, this time of year, we have got the Canadian geese, which you might hear in the background, and there was this time last year. But other than that, not a sound. Now, I moved out of my house just before Christmas because it was suggested that it wouldn't be a very pleasant Christmas for my stepson and my ex-wife if I was in the house. So Misty and me moved into a storeroom at work, and we lived in this storeroom for 84 days, living on a camp bed. I got no washing, as in clothes washing facilities. I was washing my clothes in a bucket. I got no proper bathroom or shower or anything like that, so I was actually bathing in a plastic tub. I got no cooking facilities other than a microwave, and it was a bit bleak. It was a bit bleak, and at night time, it was, in the winter, it was bordering temperatures around freezing point inside the building. And we endured that for the 84 days while I found and did the paperwork for freedom. So this has been a traumatic year, really. I'm now divorced, and like I said earlier, this is something I wasn't expecting. I actually thought at my age I was coasting into retirement, settled for life, and I've become accustomed to that lifestyle. 3 days, that's right, 2 days after I moved on to freedom, we went into first lockdown, and COVID hit the headlines. And to be honest, I've dealt with that side of life, I think, really well because of the fact I'm finding myself in this environment. I'm learning to find me, as against being a creation to fit into somebody else's model of what I should be, if that makes sense. I came from a very poor background. My dad was a farmer in Lincolnshire. I was the youngest of 8. Money was tight, and we lived off of the land and what Dad could shoot as a farmer. We hadn't shops. We had very little in the way of clothes. We had very little in the way of toys. So I was used to not wanting a lot in life, having a lot in life. I've worked for myself for 40 years. I've run four businesses. All have done really, really okay and well. But through all that, I've never found myself looking at it and going, I own this. This is mine, you know? And I know that matters to some people. And yes, I was swayed, and I've been taken down this path of you need to have this, you need to have the latest of that. And I have had nice things. I've had 2 Rolls Royces. I've had 3 Honda Goldwings. I've had a super sports car, 155 mile an hour machine. But that doesn't mean you're having a happy life. That might sound like it's easy for me to say. The one thing about freedom, the boat, and freedom of being myself is just that I can now start to be who I am. In the wardrobes in the bedroom here, I've got 2 double wardrobes and a half, what we call a half wardrobe. And honest to God, it is full of £85 shirts. Absolutely jam full. I haven't yet got round to putting them into these vacuum bags and stacking them under the bed, but I already have put all the designer jeans and all the other trappings, for want of a better word. For me, you see, I'm happy in a £15 worth of Tesco's jeans and a t-shirt. I don't need a crocodile on my chest and an £85 price tag in the back of a shirt to make me who I am. And this is part of what I think is important to anybody who's looking to live on a boat, and maybe even change the whole lifestyle and not be on a boat. But the thing is you've got to have the courage and the drive to step out of that existence that you're already in. And it is, like I said earlier, it's very scary. But what I can honestly say, in the whole year that I've lived on this boat, not once, and I swear to you, not once have I sat on this settee at night and thought, oh, I do feel lonely. Oh, I do feel sad. It has never, ever happened. I'm too happy finding myself and being myself to feel sad, you know? I like my company. I actually like myself. I don't need all them trappings around me to make me who I actually am, because the way I look at it is, when you've got the big fancy house and the fancy cars, you're just really a custodian, because one day you're going to shuffle off this world and that's gone to somebody else. You're just a caretaker. And there's a lot more important things in life than designer labels, drinking in fancy bars. You know, call me old-fashioned, but I used to go occasionally to a very popular pub in Mansfield with my wife, where on a Saturday night, on the very rare occasion we had a Saturday night where we could go, there was all the toy millionaires, as I call them, the pretend millionaires. They was in business, but they weren't multi-millionaires, but they were living the multi-billionaire lifestyle. And they would happily pay £36 for a bottle of Prosecco and bring it to the table. Now, you know, me, I'm just me. And I'd look at that £36 bottle of Prosecco, which I don't like anyway, and think to myself, I could buy 3 bags of coal and a bottle of Asti from Asda for that same money and be happier than I am in your company, drinking your Prosecco, playing it being something that I'm not. So this is the path I'm going down, and this is why I'm enjoying boat life, because I'm doing things I haven't done for years. My daughter thought it was quite funny because I said to her, I've bought a microwave. I've never bought a microwave or a kettle or toaster. I chose my own Hoover. Simple things. I chose the curtains for the bedroom here. I got a lady to do the alterations in Findon, and I love what I've chose because I've chose it and it's for me. And yes, don't get me wrong, I understand there's people in relationships, marriages, where they have got a working situation and it's all good. But for me, it wasn't really like that. I was happy just to go to work and earn the money and just be myself at work and do what I'm good at doing. I found the necessity to fit in with others and other people's lifestyle a driving force in some way to make this a success. And this YouTube channel, hopefully, is going to help other people who's in the same situation as I was and am at the moment, realise there is life, even at my age, outside of what you've had. So don't be frightened to grasp. And once you jump on board, literally, you'll enjoy it. You really will. I'm not going to answer any individual questions as such in this vlog. But somebody did ask me a long way back, and I can't remember who, did I change the name of this boat? And the answer is no. The boat has always been called Freedom. And again, it just ticked. That was one of the things it ticked in my head, that it represented what I was looking for. I did have it re-sign written, and I kept the name Freedom, but now it's Misty and Me Living Our Lives with Freedom, which sums up exactly how I am and what I'm going through. As for my well-being, honestly, I think living on board this boat, living at Mercia Marina, having such a great community around me, having a fantastic marina, offering great facilities, I am so happy. My well-being has gone through the ceiling. Honestly, it has. You can't get from your boat to your van in a morning without somebody with a smile. I can't drive Misty down to one of the fields where I walk her every day in the van on my way to work without everybody. Very rare does somebody come towards you and not put their hand up or not wind the window down on the car and ask you how you're doing. But at the same time, they're not in your face. You know, you can be yourself, you can be private. There's nothing wrong with solitude. I think the problem nowadays is we've all been brainwashed into thinking you've got to have the latest of everything, you've got to do all these holidays, you've got to be running like a hamster in a wheel. And I've decided that I don't want to be an hamster in a wheel. I'm quite happy just being myself, toddling along at my own pace with my dog, and I'm happy doing that. Strangely enough, since I've moved on board, my personal bond with Misty has grown really strong. She can still be a cowbag when she wants to be. She can be bloody minded and strong minded, but that's what I like about her. You know, it's not such a bad thing, and I'm now having more contact with my sisters and my daughter, so I'm not lonely. I genuinely am not lonely. But the YouTube channel is here as a means of expression, both through the cooking videos, my have a go videos, things I do on the boat, and it's nice to see that it's inspiring other people to look at this as a lifestyle choice. I do understand that there is people who live on boats on their own throughout this pandemic who have actually suffered a lot of mental stress because they can't see the family and the friends. I try and look at a positive side of this. I think, you know, we're lucky that we've got mobile phones that at a touch of a button you can see somebody you're talking to in Australia. You know, you can see your family. It's not like in the war where you'd write a letter and maybe in 3 weeks' time somebody would get it. You know, we're not rationed. We haven't been rationed. Yes, our liberties have been put on hold and our freedoms have been put on hold to a degree, but it's not the end of the world. We're getting out the other side of it. I had my COVID jab the other day, and that knocked me back for a 24-hour period, but Nurse Misty looked after me best she could, bless her, and I'm all right now. I'm all right now. So yeah, I didn't change the name of the boat. The boat, as I say, was called Freedom, and that just sums up my lifestyle now. It's a freedom of choice. It's a freedom to be myself, and I can honestly say my mental health is a lot better. And part of moving onto a boat is about decluttering, minimalising, throwing things away, and that's just not a physical thing. Like I said earlier, all the shirts are sitting in the wardrobe. They'll never get worn again, so eventually they'll all get vacuum packed or they'll be sold off. I don't know. I don't need all that. But it's not just the clothes and the belongings, it's all the rubbish that you store in your head that also needs to be sifted out, and you need to get rid of a lot of the clutter. And having the peace and the tranquility that I have on this boat, for me, it's been a fantastic situation, because I'm now more at peace in my own mind of what I'm doing. Sounds a bit melodramatic, doesn't it, this? It's not meant to be. I am actually a happy person. But what have I learnt? What have I learnt? I've learnt that you can have friends who I haven't seen for 30, 40 years who care about me more than my own family, who I haven't seen in the last year, 14 months. I've learned how to work a Morso squirrel stove. It took me a year, but by God, I've got it sus now. And you get into routines. I can remember when I came to look at the boat and it hadn't got double glazed windows, and I wanted double glazed windows. I had to strike that one off my list, and I wanted a rear galley, and my galley's in the middle of the boat, midship, and I ticked that one off my boat. That didn't strike right. I wanted a pump out toilet, and I've got a cassette toilet. All these things were compromises, but you know, as I say, I've got a strong bond now with Misty. And I know it sounds a bit silly, and I'm sure there's other boaters and people who live on boats, generally just live on the boats, maybe not go cruising, will tell you that when you find the right boat, or the right boat finds you, I don't know what it is, you just know it's the right one, you become attached. There's a bond. I just think there's something about this boat that is me, and I just feel this is my happy place. Every day, when I leave this boat in the morning to go to work with Misty, the very last thing, and I've told people this before, the very last thing I do before I go out that door is I look back and smile, because I found freedom. And it's a fantastic thing. It really is. You don't need all that razzmatazz. It's so much easier to declutter your mind, enjoy your life, be yourself, and get on with things, you know. So I'm going to end this vlog here, because I'm going to get boring you too much. And then next week I'm going to start going through the lists, and we have got quite a lot of questions that need answering. So I just wanted to give you a bit of a taster of why I'm on this boat and how I come to be on a boat. Am I glad I've moved on board? 100% happy. Have I got any regrets about being on a boat? Absolutely not. Not a single one. And I'd recommend this lifestyle to anybody, whether it's a couple or a single guy or a single woman who want to change their life. Give it a go. Seriously, give it a go. I think you'll enjoy it. I know you'll enjoy it. So until next week's vlog, when I start to answer these questions that you've all been sending in, look after yourselves, stay positive, stay safe. Thank you for watching from Misty and Me. Take care. Bye-bye.